You've been there, right? You're at a dinner party or maybe just scrolling through the comments section online. The topic of green energy pops up. Electric cars, massive solar farms, a carbon-free future. You're all in. This is the world you want. But then someone drops the one word that stops the conversation cold. Mining. You can practically feel the air go out of the room. They hit you with the classics. But what about the environmental cost? What about child labor? Isn't mining just as dirty as oil? And just like that, you're on your heels. You try to explain why it's necessary, but the conversation spirals into a heated, circular argument. It's not a discussion. It's a shutdown. You walk away frustrated because you know there's a bigger picture, but you just couldn't find the words to paint it. What if you could change that? What if, instead of trying to win the argument, you could reframe it entirely? In this video, I'm going to give you the exact framework to calmly and confidently discuss mining so that people actually listen, understand, and maybe even find some common ground. Alright, the first step is the most important, and it's the one almost everyone messes up. You have to start by agreeing with them. I know it sounds completely backward. You're trying to have a productive conversation, not surrender. But just watch what happens when you lead with a little empathy. The next time someone brings up the dark side of mining, your first words should be, "You're not wrong." Or, "I get it, and that's a huge concern." Because let's be completely honest, mining's historical report card is not great. For centuries, it has often been an industry that took more than it gave, leaving scars on landscapes and communities. That dirty perception didn't just appear out of thin air. It's built on real stories of environmental damage, from water contamination to deforestation. It's built on past failures to protect workers, and on heartbreaking reports of unethical labor practices in some parts of the world. The mining sector is consistently ranked as one of the most dangerous industries out there. By starting with, "You're not wrong," you do something incredibly powerful. You instantly disarm them. You're not an opponent anymore, you're a reasonable person who sees both sides of the coin. You've laid down a foundation of trust and told them, "I hear you, I understand, and your concerns are valid." You've stopped the argument before it even started, and now you've earned the right to say, "But that's not the end of the story." This is where you pivot. You've acknowledged the problems. Now you reframe the entire debate. Most arguments are stuck in a simple dead-end loop. Is mining good or bad? Your job is to elevate the conversation to a much smarter, more realistic question. Given that modern life is impossible without it, how do we do it responsibly? Frame it like this. Mining isn't just an industry. It's one of humanity's oldest and most essential tools. We don't live on the earth, we live from it. Everything we have ever built, from the first stone axe to the microprocessor in your laptop, was pulled from the ground. So the issue isn't if we should use this tool. The issue is how we use it. We wouldn't argue about whether we should ban farming because of its environmental impact. We talk about sustainable agriculture. We wouldn't debate outlawing medicine because of potential side effects. We talk about risk versus benefit. This is the reframe. You shift the conversation from if to how. You move from a black and white moral judgment to a complex real-world problem that needs solving. And you position yourself and the other person on the same team, as problem solvers staring at the same challenge. Now that you've reframed the debate, it's time to make the need for mining real and personal. Most people see it as some abstract evil happening far away. Your job is to connect it to their daily lives, and crucially, to the very future they want. Start with the device that's probably in their hand right now, a smartphone. That phone is a small miracle of geology, not magic. It's a precisely assembled collection of mined materials. The super strong screen is made from aluminosilicate glass fortified with potassium. The battery that keeps it alive depends on lithium and cobalt. The circuitry and wiring that make everything work are mostly copper. The processor, its brain, is made of pure silicon. And those are just a few of the dozens of metals and minerals that make it possible. But here's the most powerful connection you can make: the great paradox of the Green Revolution. To build a green world, we are going to have to dig. A lot. Take an electric car, the ultimate symbol of a clean future. According to the International Energy Agency, building one requires 6 times more minerals than a conventional car. An EV doesn't just need a little copper, it can contain over a mile of it. Its battery is a dense brick of graphite, lithium, nickel, cobalt, and manganese. An onshore wind plant requires 9 times more mineral resources than a natural gas plant of the same capacity. Those massive turbines are made of steel, which comes from iron ore, and their generators use rare earth magnets. Solar panels are no different, relying on huge amounts of copper and silicon to turn sunlight into electricity. To meet the goals of the Paris Agreement, the IEA projects that the demand for these kinds of minerals for clean energy technologies could quadruple by 2040. This isn't a talking point, it's a physical reality. You cannot build a battery, a solar panel, or a wind turbine out of hopes and dreams. This is the inconvenient truth of the green transition. The road leaving fossil fuels behind is paved with minerals. At this point, the person you're talking to should be seeing the dilemma. They see that the things they want, their phone, their clean energy future, are directly dependent on the thing they dislike. This is where you bring the conversation to a hopeful, solution-oriented place. You've established mining is a necessary tool. Now you explain how we are making that tool better, safer, and smarter. First, talk about technology and innovation. The mining industry isn't your grandfather's pick-and-shovel operation anymore. It's going through a massive digital transformation. Companies are using AI and predictive analytics to make operations more efficient and reduce waste. They're deploying fleets of autonomous, often electric trucks and drills, which pulls people out of dangerous environments and slashes diesel emissions. Engineers are developing lower-impact mining techniques like biomining, which uses microbes to extract metals, or methods that pull minerals from the ground without digging giant open pits. And there's a huge focus on water, with modern mines designing closed-loop systems that recycle and reuse the majority of their water to prevent contamination. Second, talk about responsibility and transparency. The pressure for high environmental, social, and governance, or ESG standards, is real, and it's changing the industry for the better. Today, a majority of new mining projects are required by law to have comprehensive environmental management plans. Technologies like blockchain are even being used to create transparent supply chains, so companies can trace minerals from the mine to the final product, helping to ensure they aren't sourced from conflict zones. Finally, bring it home with the circular economy. We need to get way better at recycling the mountains of electronics we already have. Every old phone is basically a tiny gold mine in your junk drawer, and recycling EV batteries isn't an afterthought, it's a core part of the strategy. Successfully recovering materials like lithium and cobalt from old batteries can slash our need for new mining significantly. The goal isn't zero-impact mining, that's physically impossible. The goal is to build a system where we use technology, regulation, and recycling to minimize the impact, maximize the benefits, and ensure that when we do have to dig, we do it in the most responsible way possible. So let's put it all together. The next time you're in that conversation, you don't need to memorize 100 statistics. You just need to remember this 4-step framework. Step 1. Agree and acknowledge. Start with empathy. You're not wrong to be concerned. The environmental and social impacts of mining are a serious issue that has to be addressed. Step 2. Connect and reframe. Broaden the perspective. And it's a challenge we have to solve because the reality is, everything from the phone in your pocket to the green energy future we all want depends entirely on mined materials. Step 3. Provide a tangible example. Make it real. Take an electric car. To build just one, it takes 6 times more minerals than a regular gas-powered car, especially things like lithium, cobalt, and copper. Step 4. Pivot to the solution. Focus on how, not if. So the real question isn't, should we mine, but how do we make sure the materials for our green future come from the most technologically advanced, regulated, and responsible mining operations in the world? This framework transforms you from a defender of a controversial industry into a thoughtful advocate for a realistic, sustainable future. Winning an argument isn't about shouting down the other person, it's about guiding them to a new perspective. It's about connection, not conflict. So the next time this topic comes up, don't try to win. Try to connect. Start with, I get it, and calmly walk them through the reality of the world we live in and the one we're trying to build. The challenge is huge. But building a better future has always depended on our willingness to face uncomfortable truths and innovate our way forward. And that innovation starts right here, by changing the conversation. It starts by understanding that the foundation of our modern world and our green future is literally the ground beneath our feet.